and I am here with...
Yes, hello, this is Dominic Maldonado. Thanks for having me, Omar.
Yes, of course. It's very good to have you. So today we're going to be talking about a very special movie to me because it's one of my favorite directors.
Wes Anderson?
That's your favorite director.
That is one of my favorite directors.
But we're going to be talking about a special Christopher Nolan picture.
Okay.
By the name of Interstellar.
All right.
Interstellar. So basically, Interstellar starts off with a very young Matthew McConaughey, in his prime, of course, right after his stint on True Detective.
So damn good.
And so starts off in a cornfield as a farmer, and what was it? He had been
an engineer.
He had been an engineer.
He was like an aeronautical or like electronics engineer, and I believe it also opens up with a drone that had been flying around for a very long time, and somehow he had tracked it. Well, not tracked it. He more like just chased it down, hacked it while it was on the move, and made it just kind of land somewhere safe so that he could have his own little drone.
Yeah, something that we can all do when we get to that point in Christopher Nolan history.
Right.
Just land drones.
Right. Yeah, just land, just hacking land drones with no repercussions. Beat up bad guys. Man, what other Nolan shit can we do?
Basically anything in terms of space is possible with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Matthew McConaughey is reached by NASA, and he has to go on a space mission and leave his family for a little while and go up there, and it turns out he's trying to find a new world for his Earth to live in. And
a whole new world, as Disney would put it.
A whole new world with magic carpets and all that.
It kind of was.
And so it's either the new world or him and Anne Hathaway have to repopulate, which doesn't seem like a terrible thing.
Yeah, but they start off like with these set of embryos, right, that are like being cryo frozen for a bit, and I don't know if I just want to start off with like a dozen kids. I'm not even really sure if I'm committed to Anne Hathaway like that. I mean, I thought her and Rachel's getting married was cool. I thought she did okay as Catwoman. Yeah. But could she survive, being my repopulation partner wife thing? Like, I don't know if I, you know what I'm saying? She's cute. I just don't know if I can keep a thought around for like ever. And honestly, I'm hoping when I get to that planet, there's already some beautiful women looking like Ryza, Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah,
and I can start there.
It sounds like you're going to end up on some Game of Thrones. What's the guy's name?
The dead one?
Yeah, well, they're all dead now.
You're either the dead one or the one that gets their dick chopped off.
No, it's the one that has his family is all his children, but he keeps making more family with all his girls. Gilly's dad.
I'm not sure if I got to that part in Game of Thrones, to be honest with you. That seems a little incestuous.
Right.
It just kind of feeds back into Matthew McConaughey, True Detective, when they get to that Louisiana stuff.
Yeah, all right.
All right, but we're getting lost in space here. Yeah, there's a lot of spoiler alerts going out. But as we were saying, so he hacks the drone, finds out he needs to go to NASA, gets there, and what's the guy's name? Is it Michael Caine?
Yeah.
So a British guy is the head of the U.S.
NASA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we all have our. That's a whole different
That's
story.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. Suspension of disbelief part 2. Part 1 was he hacked the drone on the go, brought it down safely. Part 2.
And all right.
UK guys, head of
NASA.
Yeah.
So basically, that's our plot line. There is that Matthew McConaughey and Matthew and friends, as I like to call it, they go into space and they try to find a new planet for the world to move to, for Earth to move to. And so it's pretty interesting story, dealing with some kind of older topics, black holes and things of that nature. And it gets really interesting because if you watch any of the behind the scenes and things like that, you'll see that Christopher Nolan and his brother, who helped make this picture, both kind of worked with this NASA scientist and some other scientists out there to kind of get the science and the mathematics of it all correct. And I don't know how honestly successful they were. I think, of course, they took their liberties, as all filmmakers do.
Oh, no doubt. When you there's a lot of liberties taken. No, I'm not that type of scientist. No disclaimer. But just when you think about films in general, right? So you're in a firefight, bam, people are shooting, boom, boom, pow, pow, right? And you're reloading a clip after 40 shots, and you load in another 40-shot clip. It's well, damn, it's a whole lot of bullets, not a lot of accuracy going on here. Just one of those liberties we take. When you're blowing up a car, right? You shoot it a few times and you hit the gas tank exactly. Boom! That bitch just light up, flip over, and just kill at least 2 or 3 baby mamas. It just doesn't work like that, right? It might have a little cloud of poof smoke, but it's harder shit to jumpstart those things sometimes. You telling me one bullet's gonna pop the whole thing of that ass up in the air? No. So when you go to space and you're saying, all right, you, Matthew McConaughey, and you extras, the Matt Pack, right? Y'all gonna go to space. And when you get to these different places, something called time slippage due to the level of gravity, right? And it's going to fuck with you. So your 4-year trip just turned into, was it 25-year or 15-year minimum trip?
Yeah.
Now, that's the part that I guess I had trouble believing and subscribing to. But because they chose that direction, I just went ahead with it because, what the hell? I've never been to space, let alone through a transporting spherical presence white hole that took me to some other point in the galaxy, and then chilled there for a bit, smashed a few bras, and came back. I don't know how much time I'm going to lose, but I suppose it's maybe a few years. But
I think that's the thing. It's when you really look at it, the scientists and especially the NASA scientists and some of the other people that they spoke to for the kind of source material of this movie, they really believe that this is a phenomenon that can happen when it comes to space and time. When you go out into space, there's already science that proves that there's a kind of change in time that happens. And can it be so much that when you land on another planet to figure out whether it has life or not, can you really lose 10 years,
right?
Or 25 years and
not even really notice it.
Yeah,
due
in the
to
span
the
of
relativity.
Yeah.
So they say a simple experiment for this is take 2 stopwatches or 2 iPads, whichever you happen to have on you. You put one at the center of a bicycle wheel, one at the very end of it. The bigger the bicycle wheel, the easier this experiment will get. Let it run for X amount of time. When you stop both clocks. One will show 1 time, and the one on the edge, further away from the center of the rim, will have a slower time.
Yeah.
And it's see, that shows right there that it's all relative, and us being this close to the sun versus that close to the sun and being next to somebody else's solar system and sun will affect your time.
Yeah, and compare that to somebody riding on a unicycle right next to the bicycle,
right,
with the huge wheel.
Right,
right. The unicycle wheel will probably be way different than the other 2 wheels.
Perhaps. I'm again not that kind of scientist, but or unicyclist, but
or a scientist at all.
Won't go that far. Let's not get lost in the facts, Omar. Nigga did go to school, so
I do have my bachelor's.
I did get a master's, so. But this isn't about us. This is about the Matt Pack.
Yeah, the Matt Pack
and Chris Nolan.
So yeah, it's really interesting to kind of go through and discover and hear hear kind of how Christopher Nolan and his brother talked to these scientists and thought of a way that they could change up this story to make it somewhat believable, but still
entertaining.
Entertaining, and take their liberties with the information that they were given. Because I know once I saw the movie and I saw some of the science behind it and some of the people that they were talking to, I for one don't care about astrophysics at all, and I wanted to work for NASA. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing working in the film industry as a technician? I should get out there and
drop 40 years to prove one fact that nobody gives a damn about.
Yeah, write 13 books on black holes that nobody still knows anything about.
Right. Yo, America, we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to In Reality. So we were talking about Interstellar.
Yes.
And some of the kind of realistic expectations and the liberties taken with it. And I really wanted to talk about kind of the end and how the end played out. But before we do that, I want to address the marketing of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the marketing?
So I don't know if you remember, but
do they owe you $20?
When the movie came out, I bet you, and you said you'd give me some. No, there's no bet. But I don't know if you remember, but for me, when I saw the trailers for Interstellar, I was really excited because Christopher Nolan's name was on it, but I never really knew what it was about. The trailers it was kind of like a Cloverfield feel, like very vague.
Yeah, specifically vague, vaguely specific, I agree. And I just remember that it came out after Gravity, and I was like, I don't know how you're going to beat Sandra Bullock, half-naked body, tumbling through space in spandex.
With Anne Hathaway.
But I mean, so I was like, oh boy, here we go. It's one of those things. Like there was a vampire phase, right? There was a zombie phase. Now we're in the space phase of film, so it's probably everybody and their mama.
Yeah. Well, I think Christopher Nolan's always kind of dealt with like time and passage of time and shifts in time and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it's kind of a natural...
The temporal anomaly of all things. I agree.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of natural for him, but I thought it was really interesting how they kind of marketed the movie. And people never really knew what it was about. They kind of saw that it had to do with space and saw Matthew McConaughey in a dirt field. And
as usual, yeah.
Yeah. But they never really discussed anything in terms of like black holes, I think, in the trailer. Do you remember anything like that?
No, hell no. It was just Matthew McConaughey in a spacesuit starring, Anne Hathaway and written by Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
The guy who also rediscovered Batman. So we pretty much took his word on it. And I think, he did a great job building his reputation to a point that we trusted him with this work. Like, he couldn't get Leonardo DiCaprio and an Academy Award, but I wouldn't say that's all his fault with Inception.
Yeah, right? I would say it's all Leonardo DiCaprio's fault. You'll find out throughout this podcast. I'm not a very big fan of Leo DiCaprio. I'm sorry for those of you who I offend.
Jeez, like every chick. So, but I digress. So yeah, I think just between those few things, that was plenty. Now, once I saw the film and I saw it go, and the thing to me that kind of was like a big turnoff was like Matt Damon. It's like, what the fuck?
Matt Damon. What is the... He's in another kind of...
Yeah, he's another... I think it's called movie. Mars. And I'm like, how many fucking times are you going to send this man to space?
The Martian. You'll probably see that from us in the future.
Subsequent podcast, we'll be getting around Martians.
Yeah, while we do our whole space epic adventures.